Hello, I'm Mick Adam Noya, and this is Channel+Crossing. Dead things are walking around everywhere, and I can't seem to get away from them.
This is where it all starts tomorrow. Tobin gets in the truck, opens the exit, and we're off. He hops out, catches up with his team of Reds, staying on the west side of the road. Daryl gets on his bike.
You see that?
We gotta do this now!
But hold on, I'm getting ahead of myself. The fall season of television has begun, and the gauntlet of new and old series begins. I was hoping to visit Les Revenants, or The Return under its English title, as the second series was also set to rise from the dead. First airing in France, on More 4 in the UK, and on Sundance on Halloween in the US. 3 years is a long time to wait for a continuation, but it hasn't been far from my mind, as there are now 3 versions of this story. The 2004 French film, the 2012 French series, which is loosely based and much better, and the 2015 American remake. I hesitate to mention it, but there is also Resurrection from the US ABC network, which is based on the 2013 book from Jason Mott called The Returned, which has nothing to do with the French film or the series, even though it's about the same thing and the same title. I could go further, but I probably shouldn't. In short, there are things in book, telly, and film form about people coming back from the dead. This seems to be the latest trend in undead fiction. 28 Days Later and The Walking Dead gave us zombie stories, but with strong written character development. In these stories, it's the dead that get the character development. Oh, by the way, just in case you need a reminder of something creepy. If you haven't already seen The Returned, you are cheating yourself. As I was saying, 3 years is a long time to wait, but you wouldn't know it from watching. Although 6 months have passed in the story between seasons, things feel like yesterday. Of course, if you really want a sign of the passage of time, just take a look at Victor. But let's not break the fourth wall just yet. Given that half the town is now submerged in water, and most of the residents have either left or are missing, I thought things would be simpler. If anything, they're a lot more complicated. What's left of the town is under lockdown from the military, and the characters look noticeably shell-shocked. Adele is now sporting a Rosemary's Baby-inspired haircut. Some blatant foreshadowing, perhaps? Claire looks worn out and taxed, while Jerome is walking around looking like the Unabomber. And unlike Vincent, Camille looks exactly the same. Also, the dead seem to have set up a little neighborhood for themselves. They are some new characters, and they have a surprisingly strong presence in the story. While being new additions, they feel like they've been there all along. The first season started from a place of loss and asks, why are our dead loved ones coming back? The second season expands on that to ask, is this really the first time the dead have come back? How long have they been coming back? And how many times? Unlike the first season where things take place mainly at night, this season takes place mostly during the day. This is most likely a conscious choice. At times this is creepier and more eerie. It's easier to show the macabre at night. We expect it. But seeing images of the horde in relative stillness and broad daylight is incredibly unnerving. I loved this series when it first aired, and I was happy to finally see it return. There was no way I was getting around that pun. The great level of care that was given to the show's first season, to its beautifully shot cinematography and detailed writing, have seamlessly carried over to the second. The show still relies heavily on scenes with little to no dialogue to move the story along at certain points. But make no mistake, there is a story being told. I would be guilty of dereliction of duty as a reviewer if I did not point out the fact that The Return courts the possibility of being something like Lost, a show that asks more questions than it answers, and in the end, answers none. The show is so far, however, able to avoid story traps, and the established world and style really does go a long way. The characters and French Alpine location, coupled with a soundtrack from Mogwai, is hypnotic. Speaking of the dangers of cliches, I feel like every time a new show comes along with a supernatural element, coupled with a wooded environment and off-kilter characters, a lot of people automatically compare it to Twin Peaks. There are times when the comparison applies, and the inspiration is clearly visible, sometimes blatantly so. But I feel like it's become this broadly defined go-to thing. I would say that it's about as overly used as the term film noir. I'm sure that when Twin Peaks' third long-awaited season comes out sometime now in 2017, some critic will probably say, "That's like Twin Peaks." Let's also not forget the fact that Stephen King and others have been writing this kind of story for quite some time. In the case of The Returned, like that other program, I think this will be a show that will inspire other work and beg for comparison. The American remake got cancelled, by the way. And with all due respect to the cast and crew, I think it's for the best.
There's a place for us.
25 hours is a long time to be on an airplane, but that's how long it took me to get to Australia. After that amount of time on an aircraft, you want to do something exciting, stretch your legs.
Car 72, no activity. How was your weekend? It's Wednesday. Was it? Jesus. You still angry about the dolphin? What dolphin? Oh, this enormous, giant, concrete dolphin in the back of our unmarked police car? No. Why would I be unhappy about that?
I just don't understand. As my best friend, I would have thought you'd support
Can
my
we not
choice.
say best friend? We probably are,
Yes.
or were, or whatever, but it's not little kids, you know. We don't have to say best friend. I don't have a favourite colour.
Blue.
I don't have a favourite food.
Sushi.
I do like sushi.
It's your favourite food.
My point is, we're not 7-year-old girls, so can we not say...
Australia was one of those countries that wasn't legally licensed to carry Netflix. Like those other countries, a lot of people were using a VPN so they could watch it. That changed when it became officially available this March. A month before that, Stan launched. Stan is Australia's homegrown answer to Netflix, and I have to say, it's not bad. Along with its launch, Stan released the entire series of Gallipoli ahead of its airing on Australia's 9 channel. Unlike that series, this one is exclusive to Stan. No Activity comes dangerously close to being true to its namesake, but luckily this is mostly not the case.
No, it's my son. Lockie.
That makes more sense.
He's 15. He's a 15-year-old boy, you know, who uses my laptop a bit too much. He's just always, disappearing into the bathroom with my laptop. I know what he's doing in there. You know what he's doing in there. You know what he's doing in there.
It's not, I don't know, Lockie. It's not fair for me to...
know what he's doing in there.
Yep.
Patrick Brammall and Darren Gilshannon continue their comedic partnership firmly forged in Australia's ABC series comedy The Moody's. During that production, Brammall and writer-director Trent O'Donnell came up with this idea. The concept was basically a show about nothing, except with cops. The setup is simple. 2 cops on a stakeout, 2 women working in dispatch, and 2 criminals sitting in a warehouse. And there you have the show, which runs for 20 minutes over 6 episodes. Aside from the 6 main players, there are also the occasional guest appearance. Brammall and Gilshannon have very good chemistry and make up for any moments when the jokes aren't firing as well as others. The same goes for the other cast members. The two criminals played by Dan Wiley and David Field are hilarious, and for the most part steal the show.
For on the seventh day he did rest. I do not. How's that?
Man, that was very good.
It's intense, isn't it?
Mate, I love the biblical slant. I mean, what's the speech making?
Janine's been helping me with that.
Like an evil pastor.
Yeah, pastor.
Like a preacher,
Oh, okay.
but like evil.
Oh, evil, definitely
You
evil.
know, there's some kind of weird sermon.
God, if it's not evil, it's not worth doing. If you're working with it these days.
I gotta go the kind of more of the Mel Gibson kind of crazy eye thing,
Oh, crap.
Hey! Don't look at me!
Jesus, look at the eye. Wow.
Like that?
Shit, man. That's bent.
Well,
That's bent.
I'm crazy, mate, so you don't know which way I'm gonna go.
Crazy
Am I gonna
eyes.
do it? Am I not gonna do it? Are you off the
Look
hook?
at me, don't look at me. I got
Yeah.
confused. I didn't know
Oh,
where
mate,
we were.
I'm just as confused as anyone.
If I didn't know you, I'd think mentally retarded.
Yeah.
The inevitable comparison to Netflix original programming like House of Cards is a little unfair. This is a low-key improvised comedy. Given the repetitious nature of the show, I don't think it's as binge-watching friendly as the Netflix roster so far. Although, to be fair, I did watch it all in one go. Having said that, with no activity and the promise of more shows to come, Stan has established itself as the cool kid neighbor to Netflix and Amazon, at least in Australia. And competition is never a bad thing.
It's got a little bit of blood there.
There's a little app I picked up. That one down there, that's your C4. Most blokes, you're gonna take a head off, they'll just drive an axe between the C4, C5. They can make a mess all over the place, right? You get shards of bone. Mate, that is a forensic man's wet dream. Not me. Have a look at this.
Or would you use a crowbar or like a hacksaw to get
No, amateur time, mate. Amateur time, no. Piece of wood, in fact, even better. A little bit of cloth around it, and just gently, ever so gently, until you'll feel it, you'll feel it, you'll feel it. Straight off, clean as a whistle, no shard, no problem. This is providing, of course, you've done all your nerve work, your muscle work around it, which I generally do straight away.
right.
Along with everything old and new comes the return of the Scandi shows, Scandi noir and drama. I have to admit I'm a bit behind. I wanted to catch up on the rest of the last season of Beck. I'm also yet to finish the Swedish show Hjortskatt, and on top of that, we now have the third season of Brawn, otherwise known as The Bridge.
Goes back to the beginning.
From drama to police drama to comedy, one can never get enough of these shows, so by all means, bring them on. But as if that wasn't enough, the BBC is also trying to make its own Scandi noir, complete with music video-like abstract credits and music from an ethereal female vocal. And so is ITV.
It's on the ground.
But the real highlight comes again from the BBC. A British police drama, but with a Swedish actor.
You need a break. You should take a holiday. I was thinking of a week in Ibiza.
I hate holidays.
Bit of sun, bit of karaoke.
I don't sing.
All Swedish people sing. ABBA. Roxette. Aha.
Aha, they're Norwegian.
With Stellan Skarsgård as the lead, a script from playwright Abi Morgan, this seems unmissable.
Stomach gets used to it.
Skarsgård's acting, as expected, is fantastic and carries the weight of the show, also as expected. This story falls under the category of a talented detective hiding a secret, in this case, mental illness. The idea is an interesting one. Skarsgård sells it in a way that few actors can. But the problem is the story. The main mystery is just not compelling enough to go the distance. It really is a shame with so many ingredients for something great. But again, Skarsgård is, as is the great supporting cast, like Leslie Manville. There is of course pictured here as River's partner Nicola Walker. I always found her to be underrated, and she's come a long way since Spooks. She's also had a bit of a coup as she's in this and also starring in Unforgotten. We also have Owen Teale. He's a brilliant stage and TV actor, but these days he's in Game of Thrones, playing a member of the Night's Watch. You know, the one whose sole purpose in life is to hate Jon Snow. Here he plays someone whose sole purpose in life is to hate Stellan Skarsgård. And Adil Akhtar. Audiences might remember him from the brilliant but short-lived series Utopia. Don't get me started, I'm still angry about that one. And rounding out the cast is Eddie Marsan, playing the famous Lambeth poisoner, Dr. Thomas Cream. Can you honestly think of a better choice for that role? One more thing. There is a twist that happens early on in the show that both ads and reviews have casually revealed. I will not. If you decide to watch and go in blind, you'll be glad you did and appreciate the show that much more. And unless your plate is full at the moment, despite its shortcomings, I definitely recommend this show. From this week's mixed pick comes the credits, in the style of a Scandi police drama. Hey, everyone else is doing it.